Stampers! Hello and welcome to the LovenStamps studio. My name is Meg Loven and I am happy to welcome you for a card this morning. So whether you're watching now or later on the replay, I'm happy to see you. Make sure you say hi in the comments and so forth. And the stamp set that we're going to feature is actually one from the holiday book. It is Winterly Treetops. And this one is a great stamp set, whether you want to color or not. I'm going to show you some tricks for that. And also, we're going to use it with its dies and with the Nest of Winter Designer Series paper, which is really got some amazing designs in it, amazing shapes and so forth. And I cut some ahead of time, but now I'm like realizing that I'm not sure where they are. So, well, I guess we'll figure that out when we get there. Anyway, a really fun set of supplies for a technique that I have not done for 3 years. I looked it up. The last time I did this was in 2021, and it is a really great technique. So I don't know why I haven't tried it out since then. It's the split circle technique. So if you haven't seen this one before, or you haven't seen it for a while, oh, there, I found my birds. The split circle technique is a great one for making a really strong focal point. So it works best with a horizontal greeting, although there's some other ways you can use it. And so we're going to go ahead and we're going to use that today using this Thinking of You Always, which is really kind of a neat sentiment. I was just having a conversation with a stamper yesterday. I sent a door prize for from our Maker Club session that I do with Lindsay Mann. If you haven't seen, there's a link in the video description for more information if you'd like to join us for the Maker Club. It's kind of a exclusive share kind of opportunity each month. But we were talking about sending cards, and she was excited because she had something that I'd sent her in the past that was up on a shelf where she crafts. And so we were talking about how much it is meaningful to send cards to folks and that we all just need to send cards just a little more often. So anyway, with that in mind, this is a great card that you could send all winter long. Thinking of You is a great sentiment, and these images are not holiday specific necessarily, although you could make a really great holiday or Christmas card from this too. So, hey Joan, thanks for saying hi. All right, let's get our camera switched over and let's pull out our pieces here. So I have our Winterly Treetops, and from this we are going to feature one of our birds from our Designer Series paper. Now these are dies or our images here that match some of the dies. So this is the Winterly Treetops die set with this really awesome border here. I actually just showed some cool ideas with that recently during our Maker Club session. But the sheet that I'm going to use here is this one where you can see I've cut out some birds already. These birds match with the dies, so you can cut out the pair of them, or you can cut out our singular little friend here and add them to your card. So the other thing about this paper, I don't want to lose that in there. The other thing about this paper that's great is it has some scenery paper, like this one, where there's a scene that runs all the way across our paper. So you can use this sideways as a long scene, or you can use it vertically as a long scene. One of the other papers in the set is this one. It's 12 by 12 also, so I've already split these apart like this. But I've cut this vertically because it has sort of a border design, but the border is opposite on both sides, which is perfect if you want to fold this in half and use it as a border card and see both the front and back of your paper. Hey, Alice. Hey, Margie. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to do that. Now, if you were going to do this card with this particular paper, you would probably want to cover up the back, because when you fold it in half, then the back of your card would be upside down, which is a little bit less perfect, but still doable. So I'll show you, or I'll remind me, and I'll give you some tips for that too. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to use this here. So this is cut to 4 inches, and it's a 12-inch piece. Hey, Sue. And so we're going to go ahead and we're going to score this. And I have got this scored here. Pull out my score tool. I didn't put the Simply Scored board on the supply list that's linked in the comments in the video description, but you can use your trimmer, which I did link. So we want this card to be 5.5 inches tall. So what I'm going to do is score first at 5.5, And then I'm gonna score 5.5 from the other end, and then in the center it's 6. So I'm at 5.5, 6, and 6.5. And what this is gonna do is it's going to give us a W fold here in the middle. Okay, so now we have a card base that features both sides of that designer series paper. Both are facing the right direction, and it has this fun W pop-up in the middle, which means that now we have on the inside of our card this little pop-up element that we can use. So you better believe we are going to make the most of that. Now, the other thing about this as a card base is that designer series paper isn't necessarily the strongest card base. It's okay, but I like it to feel a little bit more substantial. So I'm gonna bring in a piece of thick basic white cardstock, and this is cut to 3 3/4 inches by 5 1/4 inches so that it fits perfectly here inside our card, okay? All right, so I'm gonna show you how we're gonna decorate that. We're gonna decorate this inside, but before we do that, and we're gonna stick this all down, let's talk about this technique for the front of our card. So the split circle technique is a really fabulous one. Like I said, it creates a really strong focal point, and you can use any circle die set. This time I'm showing you the Spotlight on Nature dies. So it is a lot of circles. They're all different sizes here, and they come all together. So Spotlight on Nature. This has been one of the hottest die sets that Sue says it's starting to look interesting. Okay, whew, I'm glad to hear it. This has been one of the hottest die sets in the last, since it was released. It's been in and out for a long time. So I didn't look this morning, but I think that it's currently in. So if you don't have it, I wouldn't wait because it's a really popular one. And we're gonna pick 3 circles that are sort of aligned next size to each other. I'm gonna take the 3 smallest ones from here. I love these little detailed die cuts on the edges of these dies. Lots of good possibilities. And then we're gonna use this one too, but not until we get to the inside of our card. So you could choose any of these. You could choose all ones with a little floral. I really like the variety, so I'm choosing ones with different shapes. And let's go ahead and set these aside here. We're gonna die cut 3 circles, and we're gonna die cut them from Cherry Cobbler. There we go. Cherry Cobbler cardstock, from Pebbled Path cardstock, and from Boho Blue cardstock. And if you couldn't guess by my pre-holy paper, these I have already done for us. So we have where did I put them? Okay, well, I did have them cut for us. Oh my goodness, there's so many fun pieces to this card that I'm losing track of them. Like I told you, I lost our bird friend earlier, but she's turned up. The bird has flown away and returned. Haha, here's our circles. Okay, so I have the center circle here from the Pebbled Path cardstock, the smallest one from Boho Blue, and the largest one from Cherry Cobbler. But then you are also going to need a second set of these circles. So this is the part, every time I go to make this card, I have to look at my sample because I realize like, wait, how am I supposed to put this together, okay? So this is your visual reminder here. You can take a screenshot or take a picture or go to my website later. It'll be on the LovenStamps blog and you can pin it. This is our visual to remember the circles that you need. You don't actually need to cut 2 of these unless you want to make 2 sets of cards. Then you would need 2 of these. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna take these, we're gonna cut them in half. All right, so this is where my trimmer comes in handy. And I love that I don't have to really figure out how big these circles are. All I'm gonna do is go ahead, I'm gonna set one of these aside because I only need one of each, and look at the left and right here to make sure that they're about the same on either side. So you don't have to be super exact about the circle on this. You can just be close in your measurement, but you want it to be pretty close. So, all right, we're gonna use actually both of those, and then I need my 2 baby circles. And there we go. Pretty easy to cut in half here with our trimmer. Okay, anybody else remember this card yet? Do you remember this technique? Like I said, it's been several years since I've done it. So, all right. So now we have our circles. Let me lay these out again so you can remember kind of what they look like. Okay, so we have opposite colors on the small and the big here that are going to go together. And we're going to glue these. And I love my multi-purpose liquid glue. You can use other adhesive too. They don't have to be super strong necessarily. You just want them to stick well. And I don't put dimensionals in between these. I know you guys are flabbergasted because I put dimensionals between everything else. But I like these to be really tight to each other so that it makes the effect really cool. And we'll get those pretty straight. It's going to get covered up in the middle, so it's not a big deal. And then we're going to alternate the colors here for the middle. So you'll notice that both of these are going the same direction, okay? Small, medium, large, small, medium, large, okay? But they are opposite in colors, all right? So watch what happens now when I put these together like this. It looks like this cool wave pattern. Do you see how the colors continue like this, right across there? I know. I think it's really cool too. But then what we're going to do is we're going to put a strip in between them. And I have some, I didn't put this on the list. So the shopping list doesn't include the gray granite cardstock, sorry. Forgot about that. And so I love gray granite because it's just one shade lighter than Pebbled Path. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp our greeting down here. And now we're going to go ahead and trim this. Anyway, trimmer back. And another thing I love about this trimmer is that it's really easy. I didn't stamp straight. You can't maybe tell from there that I didn't. So I'm going to go ahead and correct that in my trimming. I'm going to cut off just a sliver from the bottom so that now our greeting is straight. And then I can see exactly through here, press this down, and cut exactly where I want for our finished side. So yes, a swirl. Okay, Sue says, Sue saw the swirl. Joan says it looks cool. Yay, I'm glad you guys like it. All right, now the part that is a little tricky here is you have to figure out where you're going to put your swirl here so that it doesn't cover up too much of our image. I don't really want to cover up this bird here, so I'm actually going to flip it to this side. And then I have lots of space. The birds down here are giving me extra decoration, but my swirl is going to fit up here. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut a banner tail. You have to cut this piece a little longer than you expect, or I had to cut it longer than I expected to cover up the sort of the junction there. But that gives you a really neat effect. So easiest way I think to do this is to go ahead and hold it in place so that you can see on the front what you're doing, and then flip it to the back side. And we have some Stampin' Dimensionals, and I'm just going to pop a couple of these here on the back to hold everything together. Now on the front side, again, I'm going to align this so that the boho blue here lines up and the cherry cobbler lines up, and you can see those colors make that swirl. Thanks, Sue. I didn't quite come up with a word for it, but it is a swirl. And then we're going to add some more dimensionals to the back there and open this up with our dimensional backings and go ahead and pop this on here so that our horizontal line is still horizontal. Okay, fun, right? And a really nice way to show off this paper, but we are clearly not done. We still have our pop-up in the middle to do, and we have some embellishments for the front, never fear. Bling to the rescue. So this is the very end of my metallic gems pack. I have this silver left. I guess silver must be my not favorite color. But what I'm going to do is go ahead and put a couple of these here on our project. And let's see, I put maybe a couple like that, and then I'll put one more of these big ones, maybe up here. I'm going to put it right there. Okay, so I really love when I use dimensionals. I like to use them to strengthen the focal point. So clearly, or dimensionals, when I use bling, I like to use it to strengthen the focal point. So clearly this is our focus right here, the greeting, right? And we have this really strong swirl element that's helping to really make that powerful and visually attractive. And then adding these dimensionals right around here just sort of helps to keep you moving, your eye moving, and draw very closely back to that greeting there. So, all right, so now we're gonna come back to the center of our card. And like I said, we have this element here. Let's see. Oh my gosh. Now I'm missing another circle. I do not understand where all of my pieces are going today. I swear like the stamping gnomes are like trying to drive me a little bit batty. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna cut ourselves. Oh, I know what happened to it. I actually messed up earlier and I had to reuse this circle, so. Okay, no stamping gnomes made off with this paper. So let's go ahead and cut one more from Spotlight in Nature. It's really easy to see why these dies have been so popular because they have so many great applications. They are, you know, multi-sized circles in one set, and then these extra elements along the edge, they just really create some extra fun visual interest. So we've got our piece here. Now, actually, I'm going to show you, let me see if it's handy. Yes. This is my die brush. This is an attachment for the Take Your Pick tool. So it actually screws off the end, and then you would replace that. This is the end that usually has the putty end for your Take Your Pick tool. I really love this option though. The brush makes really short work of getting out a whole bunch of the little pieces at one time. You might have to go back and like get one or two, but it really reduces the amount of poking required. I'm just using it with my what is this thing called? Piercing mat, actually. So it's a pretty stiff foam, but it works nicely. So think about that Take Your Pick tool. Oh, I got my paper crunched in a weird way. Think about that Take Your Pick tool edition. So, all right. And hey, Linda. Hey, in Minnesota. Hope you guys are staying warm. We're pretty warm here today. It's like 60 something. So, all right. So we have our circle here. And what I'm going to do is I am going to attach this right here at the edge. You need to make sure that you don't go past the fold line. And you want to make sure that you don't accidentally glue it someplace that doesn't attach to the fold. So it's a tiny, tiny bit of glue here. This is where I love my liquid glue because that amount of glue is totally strong enough to hold our pop-up element in place. You also want to make sure that you don't go beyond this edge. You could still go over by 1/4 inch and your card would still fit in an envelope because this is only 4 inches wide, but I don't really want that element to show on the side of our card here. So, all right, so that is attached now. And then I'm going to take our card and on the outside, because we still have this V here, I'm going to go ahead and attach this because I don't want it to pop open. So I'm just going to put another little strip of multi-purpose liquid glue in there. If you can see it, it is enough. You don't want the glue to squish out the crack of the card here at the top. So we're just going to go ahead and, oh yeah, 57 in Washington. Nice. Yeah, we're kind of on a warm wave here. So, all right, so we're going to hold that for a second and get that to adhere. And there we go. Now we have our pop-up element here to go in the center of our card. So what are we going to put on that? We are going to put our die-cut bird. So no coloring required. You get quite a few of these. You get 2 sheets of this designer series paper. And then there are many, many birds. I haven't counted them, but you get an aviary's worth of birds, I think. So we're going to go ahead and pop this on our card here. So this is going to be our pop-up for the center. So we have our thinking of you, and then in the middle we have our bird. And we're going to come back to this piece of the thick basic white cardstock. Now the reason that I've gone with thick is because I want to strengthen our card base, like I said earlier. And so we're going to go ahead and we're going to do some stamping on here. Now I don't always want to stamp or to color when I stamp line art images like this. Okay, so this is Pebbled Path. It actually comes out almost like a dark gray or almost black. It's such a nice strong color. I really, really love it, and I'm going to miss it greatly when it retires. I know it seems early to be thinking about that, but it's going to retire when the new catalog changes over in May. So if you don't have Pebbled Path, I would highly recommend thinking about adding it to your collection. It's just such a great dark neutral. It's a little bit browner than the basic gray, but it's a little bit, it's definitely more gray than something like Early Espresso. It's just one of my favorites. Okay, so now I want to color the berries. And so I'm going to use my Cherry Cobbler Stampin' Blends. And why don't you come a little closer with me? I'm going to use my Cherry Cobbler Stampin' Blends to color my berries. I want them to be nice, crisp cherry cobbler color, but I do not want to color all the leaves. I'm drawing the line. No pun intended. I'm drawing the line at coloring the leaves. So I'm going to show you my really quick and easy way to get around that. But the nice thing about the Stampin' blends is that they are alcohol-based, so they will not run. You can just color that on there and leave it. All right, so we're going to bring in boho blue. Because there is no green really on our card to speak of, we have a lot of strong boho blue. So I'm going to do our greenery in boho blue. And this is something that I do pretty regularly when I am doing a card. I don't always use greens for our greenery. A lot of times I'll pull in the blue from a project to sort of even keep those colors even. And if you're ever someplace, I find like when I'm looking for big like textile designs or inspiration or ideas or to see what's trendy, the whites department, like the sheets and so forth from like a department store, Kohl's or I don't know, whatever you have, Marshall Fields or like coming up with old ones, Higbee's. I don't know what, the May Company, whatever department stores you had near you, Von Maur. Look at the sheets departments because the patterns on the sheets there I find are a lot of time color wise great places for inspiration for how to work with different big visual images. So we're going to use boho to color these, and I want to use my water painter. These come 3 to a package. They are a large tip, a smaller tip, and a flat tip for doing big washes. But I'm going to use, this is the larger tip, and it has this really, really teeny little end that is super terrific. They have a barrel that holds water, and when you go to fill them, just be aware that they actually screw kind of opposite what you'd expect. So you're going to fill up the barrel with water, then close it up, again, screwing it the wrong direction. And then we're going to go ahead and get some water out here near the tip. Now, picking up ink is tricky. I don't want to touch my ink pad with this. So what I'm going to do is make myself a palette by just pressing a block here into my ink pad. So you didn't see that because it was off camera. I just squished it on there. And now we have a palette here that we can use to color from. So I'm going to squish out. There's a little push, like actually even says push on the side, squeezy spots. I'm going to squeezy out some water, that's a technical term, and give myself a little bit lighter pool here of the color. And then I'm going to just go ahead and pop some on here. Now this is, I'm only coloring the big leaves, and this is a very quick and dirty coloring. I am not like trying to make like, beautiful detailed color or anything like that. So this is sort of one of those overall effect things rather than like a super detailed. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't show you another cool trick with the water painter. They used to be called aqua painters. Sorry, they're a little different now. I really like the water painter version because you have a little bit more variety in the different tool tips that you get when you have these. So aqua painters were an old version that Stampin' Up! Used to carry. So with this now, what I can also do is pick up some color. I'm going to get a little more color and a little more water. So I'm squeezing, so I'm quite wet here at the end of my tip. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to just flick it. Okay, let me see here so I can get the whole thing. I'm just going to tap my end of my water painter. So I am just flicking some little bits of color. This does kind of make a mess on things, but I'm flicking little bits of color onto my paper. So now we have this fun little fleck thing. So my friend Lindsay, who I do the Maker Club with, her video series is called Why Did I Buy This? It's with the idea that like you have these in your collection and you're not quite sure what to do with them. So then she's happy to teach you what you got this for, so that you remember to pull it out. And so Lindsay and I have a Maker Club together. We do videos each month with a little exclusive VIP group, and we send kits in the mail each month for like supplies to remind people how to use a variety of really cool things. So it's a neat sampler club. But Lindsay's favorite thing is adding little like flecks of color to stuff. So she would be proud of this card. So let's go ahead and attach this here. I'm going to pull out my multi-purpose liquid glue one more time. I really like this to be a strong adhesive layer because again, this relatively stiff piece of thick cardstock is really supporting our card base now. So it's like exoskeletons and endoskeletons. Oh, Joan says she likes watching Lindsay too. Yay. Yeah, and if you want more information about joining our Maker Club, you can join from anywhere. You can get kits in the US and in Canada, and then you can also join us from any place in the world. So anyway, we have this extra stiff layer that's here inside our card. Kind of like skeletons are inside our bodies, as opposed to like insects where their skeletons are on the outside of their bodies. That would be more like a regular card where you would put adhesive on the back and stick it down. So if you are using this paper from Nests of Winter to make this same kind of card layout with this designer series paper card base, there's a term I haven't used for a little while either, but I do love a designer series paper card base. You could do the same here. Just I would maybe consider matting it on the back with like a layer of the Pebbled Path or Cherry Cobbler or Boho Blue even. So you would put that behind your card so that the support for the card base would be on the back, and then you wouldn't see that the back of that paper was upside down. So yay, glad you like it, Nikki. All right. So there is a really fun idea for making the most of a designer series paper card base and using the 12 by 12 paper to all of its fabulousness. Remember that with the Winterly Treetops stamp set, you do not have to color. I actually have another card that I showed you a couple episodes ago. I think it was actually last month, maybe even, or early in October. This was another Winterly Treetops card with a center Z fold. So a very cool idea. Did I show you this? If I haven't showed you this yet, pretend that you, okay, well, sneak peek, I guess. You guys got to see it. Maybe I haven't showed it yet. Anyway, lots of cool ways to use that stamp set and not necessarily have to color it. So here we used our colored image from the designer series paper, and we didn't do a lot of detailed coloring here on our sprig. But I love the pop-up aspect to this. So, all right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I hope you had a great weekend. If you're looking for the marching band update, the kids, their high school marching band got the first place in their division. They're Class 3A champions at the University of Illinois Marching Band Championship. And they also won the Governor's Trophy for small schools, which is like the grand champion for that whole set of divisions of small schools. So congrats to them. We're really excited. That's pretty much the end of marching band season. There's an indoor concert tonight, but after that, then we change musical plans, and we're over into madrigals and madrigal brass for the season, heading into the holidays. So we also got to see a really great choir concert that Joey was into. So anyway, looking forward to seeing you guys on Thursday for another episode of Maker Mornings with Meg. It'll be our Halloween spooky episode, so watch for some fun with that. I'll give you guys some cool ideas. I think we're going to do a project that if you like have a little time left on Halloween, you want to do something extra treaty, you could use that. And I know lots of people's Halloween like events are actually coming up this weekend still, so you might not be too late to use the Halloween ideas there. So, all right, everybody, have a wonderful day, and hope you have a chance to pull out some supplies and do some stamping. If you have any size circles, you could use circle punches, you could use circle dies, you could use the fabulous Spotlight on Nature. Lots of good possibilities for different things. Oh, actually, do you want to see the card that I did 3 years ago for this? It'll be, if you go to my blog, you'll be able to see it too. But here is, it's a Halloween card from a few years ago, and it used this super cute Halloween paper. And so here is the, there you go, the split circle technique. So you can see it really kind of lends itself to a lot of different themes and so forth. You just change up the colors and themes for whatever you like. So, and this one, I just used that big sheet of designer series paper in the background and mounted it on a regular card there. I stamped on the inside too. Oh, that was really cute inside. There you go. So let's see, this is an old episode of Maker Mornings with Meg from 2021, if you want to go back and look for it. But anyway, same idea with today's card, just using a designer series paper card base. So, all right, everybody, have a great day, and I'll see you on Thursday. Happy stamping.